Hello YouTube, RJ. Hey, got a box on the bench. Today we're going to start what's probably going to be a couple video series. We're going to open this up, take a look at a new meter I got for the bench, and then we're going to kind of pimp this thing out. We're going to add some options, fix it up, make it a really nice meter. I got this on a bargain. It has a few things that it's not a pristine instrument, in my opinion, based on lack of options, a little bit of cosmetic stuff. But we're going to bring this thing up to be a very nice meter, and we're still going to come in way under the typical price of this meter at that level. So let's tear this thing open. Let me show you what I got. Okay. Okay, so what we have here is an HP 53313A universal frequency counter. Extremely popular. Used to be a mainstay on all the benches. Usually they're 12-digit. I think you can get 15-digit out of the back port if you want to do it in software, but they're 12-digit display units. Right off the bat, looking at it, a few minor scratches. We'll try to polish some of that out of the screen. There's just a couple of little minor ones. Doesn't look too bad. Note it doesn't have the channel 3 option for the 3 gigahertz read. Looks pretty good up front. Case is in nice shape. You get to the back, and we notice right off the bat something. This is not original at all. Somebody has 3D printed a back. These were very common to break. Often you'd see these broken. They'll crack right here at the screws from over tightening and messing around. And there is online, you can go online and find files to 3D print a plastic piece to put in. Doesn't match the meter, doesn't look original at all. Obviously, this is something I want to fix. I want this thing to look original. So this will get changed out. Kind of looks like it's marked for the 010 high stability oven. Don't know. I'm going to have to look. Didn't buy it thinking it did because the owner didn't claim it did. If you're not familiar with them, the base unit of these back when you purchased them, they would come with just the standard option. And the standard option was just a crystal filter oscillator in here, which, not exactly. When you come into frequency counters of this precision, that's not very precision. They drift quite a bit. They might be great for a ham rig for CW or something. They might work great, but when you start talking about a 12-digit frequency counter, that's not going to be accurate enough. So then you paid for options, and let me spin it back around to the back here. Let me get it up to the main camera here, and you can see here where I'm talking about. I'll stand up, excuse me, get it where you guys can see it real. You can see where they would mark it, what option it had. It kind of looks like it's marked for 010, but not definitive. But what happened is none of these were marked. You had the basic crystal oscillator. There was an option called the medium stability oven. You almost never see that because the price difference between it and the high stability was very little. So most people just went with the 010. The 0120 was very, very expensive. So you rarely see those in them. It's typically the 010, and that was a pretty good oven. So we're going to find out here in a few minutes whether this thing has the high stability oven in it or not. If it doesn't, that's another option that I'd like to put in. I'd also like to add the 3 gigahertz option to the front for the third channel. So the other thing is we need to get a power cord, power this thing up, take a look at it. The screen is supposedly, he said, a 7 out of 10, meaning it's a little dimmer than original, but not too bad. But that was one of the things with these. They had vacuum fluorescent displays. They would get dimmer over time. They would eventually fail. They were very bad about failing. You know how you're probably familiar with VFD displays and the failures and the, all of the equipment of the time. Well, you can find one replacement once in a while for a good bit of money. There is a guy who produces a LED replacement that is not green, and it's not the little fine lines. It's bright, it's blue, it's really stands out. You can read it very easily. I actually like the look of it. And so we're going to be replacing this one just so that I can see it, easily see it, and never have to worry about the VFD going out anymore, because it's LED, the thing's going to last longer than I will. So that's another option we're going to do. We're going to do some cosmetic stuff. You might notice it's missing the handle. It doesn't have the front and rear bumpers. I'll get a kit for that and get the handle and the bumpers on. My intention was, when I get done with this unit, to make it look like I bought it when it was new, and I've just had it a long time, and what little wear and tear you see would be something I would have put on it. That's my goal. Let's take a moment, put a power cable on this thing, make sure it powers up, see what it looks like, and then we'll open it up. We'll see what options we've got inside and make a plan, and then I can get the stuff order I need to do what I want to do with this thing. And in a future video, we'll pimp this thing out, make it the way we want it. Okay, I got a power cord hooked up to it. Let's get power on this thing. I went ahead while I was messing around and pulled out my 10 megahertz GPS DO signal for my spectrum analyzer out, so we'd have something to hook up to test with. Powered up. Definitely hear the fan. That's another thing. I don't know if you can hear that. It's not horrible, but the fans on these were notoriously loud. Brand new, they weren't quiet. It's not enough that when they were new that it was really a big bothersome issue, but they were loud for bench equipment. And they get louder and louder and louder, and they eventually start roaring. So while we're doing this, that's another upgrade. We're going to put in a Nocturne ultra quiet computer fan in this thing. They fit right in. They're dead quiet. You can hardly tell it's even on. And you have to remember, when this thing is plugged in, it's running. Like right now, I haven't turned it on, but the fan is running. The fan runs continuously as long as power goes to this thing. And it's because it expects that oven to be in there, that double oven time base. So you have to power that, keep it up to temp, so you're ready to go to be accurate right off the bat when you power this thing up. People don't want to come in and turn this on and wait 3 hours to take a reading. So it kept it powered and kept it warmed up, but that meant the power supply was putting out power. Those things were pretty energy hungry. They generate a lot of heat, so you needed a little air blowing through there to keep everything cool. So the fans just run continuously. So they got many, many hours on them of use, sitting in the rack or up on the bench. And so the fans get a lot of hours on them compared to the equipment's actual use. You're going to end up with this fan running all the time, and it's going to get a lot of hours on it. It's going to get noisier and noisier. So I'm going to go ahead and put an ultra quiet fan in it while we're in there. So that's the other little upgrade we're going to do. So we got power on. Let's see if it will turn on, hopefully. It is supposed to be in good shape, good working order. We're going to find out. Now it's powering up. Display doesn't look too bad. It is, maybe I can raise it up and make it where you can see a little better. Let me get something to try to raise this up. It's probably about right. Let me grab my little junk collection box here and stick under it. That get us a little better on the camera. Hopefully you can see the screen from that. They're just they're VFDs. They were never bright. They were very thin little lines. They were never real bright. What I can do is bring the camera in. If you don't mind me moving the camera a little bit. Bring the camera in a little. Get where you can see it a little better. The video tends to give a little flicker to them. They don't flicker. You don't see that in real life, but they are dim and very thin lines, as you see. So why don't we send in our GPS DO, which we know will be 10 megahertz dead on the money, and see what we see. Well, it's not horrible. I'm assuming it doesn't have the higher end time base in it. It's 11 hertz, 11.3 hertz roughly off. Let's set the gate up a little bit. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. Gate time, enter. Want it to be time. Well, there's the time. That's what I wanted. Set it to 1 second gate and run. Yep, get a little more precision. See how with the higher gate time, we're going to get a lot more precision. About 11.6 hertz off from my GPS DO. So not too bad. One thing we can do to see before we open this, we could just not open this at all and find out whether the time base is in there. And I'm looking at this, I'm going to think it's not. Is if we power this thing off and we hold the, I'm trying to remember, I think it's gate and, yeah, I think it's the gate. Turn it on. No, thought it was a gate and, no, scale and offset. It's been a while. Hang on, guys. There it is. Cal's unsecure, so they don't have it locked with a password. That's always good. If it's the stock password, it's usually the 53131. But if somebody's changed this thing, you got a problem, because there's not really, as far as I know, a way to clear that. HP never released a way to clear them, so you can be locked out. That can be a real problem. It's unsecured. Let's see. Yeah, it's not got it, and I'll tell you how I know that. When you have the internal time base and it's plugged in, you'll get additional. See, I can set a code to this if I want. See, it doesn't know a cal count. That's one way. If you get a question mark for the cal count, it means it does not have that module in here. And if you don't get a choice when you go through there for the options for time base, you don't have the time base in there. Because what happens is that's where you go to cal the time base. And if you don't have that, if you're just using the stock crystal oscillator in it, you won't have that in the menu. So I can tell you, letting opening this thing up, we don't have the 010 option. So that's going to be another thing we're going to do. We're going to put one of those in it. Yeah, looks like it works. Doesn't look like it's horribly off. We could do a calibration right now of it, just for fun. There's a pot on the back that you calibrate with. I can grab my little ceramic screwdriver, and we could like try to do a calibration on this. Let's see if I can get back here, and I'll turn it around here. I'm going to do this. Turn it around here. I'll show you on this camera here, a little higher resolution. You see over here, you got a spot right here. It's covered with a sticker. That's your calibration adjust. And they, when they calibrate, they put stickers over it until you don't mess with it. It's listed as OSC adjust is what it's called. And I'm going to pull the tape off. That's probably good enough. I'll clean it up later. But there's a little variable capacitor in there. Let's get her hooked back up to my GPS DO. And what I'm going to do is try to get my screwdriver in here on this little rascal. And you got to have a good time base to calibrate with, something like a GPS DO or Rubidium. You got to have something good to work with. These things are touchy, I can tell you right now. I am just putting pressure on this thing and it's going nuts. This is not a good way to calibrate something so precision, to be honest with you. And I haven't let it run long enough. Although the crystal oscillator doesn't have to warm up as long as like a oven oscillator does, but we're close. I'll let this thing rip for a couple hours and warm up good, just to be, even though it's not an oven controlled oscillator, let everything kind of stabilize around. I'll try to calibrate it pretty close, but you can see here the bouncing around you don't have the most stable oscillator in this thing stock. So that's where we are. I'm not really going to get into it because we're going to go through this whole thing and like I said, pimp it out, fix it all up, make it look really nice. And you're going to be along for the ride in a future video. So I'm just going to make this a short video. Look at that. It's getting really close to 10 megahertz. It's 100, about 200 microhertz off at the moment. So not doing too bad. So we'll pick it up in a later video. So, hey, thanks for checking out my new meter with me. Thanks again for hanging out with me today. And I hope to see you in the next video.